evening and good morning for everyone who's joining us in the Northern Hemisphere. Thank you for tuning in for today's amazing and wonderful conversations with our beautiful community member, Stel, shining the light on our community. And Estelle is joining us from Melbourne today to talk about our chakras and your food, mood, relationship. What an interesting topic. So thank you for joining us, Stel. And I really want to know about, yourself, because you're a wellness coach and an energy healer, a certified yoga teacher, a writer, and a podcaster specializing in spiritual, emotional, and holistic healing. I love it. And there's so much more that you do, which I want to know. So, Stel, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's just such a pleasure to be here and to share with you today, Sophia.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because, like we were talking about before, the chakras and your food mood relationship. What a wonderful combination! What an interesting topic to talk about. But before we get into that, I really like one of my passions of having conversations with people is that we get to know about you. We get to know about your journey and how your journey, what's has brought you to where you are now. So tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all.
Well, I'll try and keep it brief because we might be here for a very
Okay.
long time. So I kind of had a very much a love-hate relationship with food since a very young age. And I think, when we struggle with food issues, sometimes it can be like a really, really frustrating thing,
Yes.
And so, yeah, I kind of, for the last about 4 years ago, I found my own healing in my love-hate relationship with food. But before that, I was constantly hopping from one diet to the next. I really struggled with my emotions. My stress. I had constant migraines. Um, I over-exercised, and it was just one of those relationships that was very controlling. And because of that relationship, I didn't really have space for a spiritual journey or anything spiritual really, because it just overconsumed everything.
Yeah, yeah, and I hear that it's a topic that's close to my heart too. Because as I was growing up, I also had a very love-hate relationship with food. I loved food. I would eat anything, but I kind of ate stuff to punish my body.
Mm,
And I can hear, and overeating, absolutely.
yeah.
You go through things, and for me, like I used to be in a lot of pain, and before really going into it, understanding why, I would just punish my body, which gave me even more pain. Didn't quite work out the way I thought it would, but yeah, so I hear that. I really hear that, and now you're getting on to helping others.
Yes, yeah. So my issues got so bad that I just you know um, kind of developed two eating disorders, binge
Yes.
eating disorder and orthorexia. And it was a real battle for so long. And the hate part of the food is just the hate. I hate the way food made me feel so powerless, and the way my thoughts and my behaviors, they were all driven by my food decisions. And what am I going to eat today to be healthy because of what I ate yesterday, or just imagining and seeing food almost, floating in front of my face when I'm working at my desk. So it was just completely overbearing and debilitating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel it. I can feel that for you. So yeah. So what did you do? How did you get from there, from having to eating disorders and having that, you know, the love-hate relationship with food and everything else to where you are now?
Yeah, so in 2015, I actually had a blood clot on my brain, and I really, that's when I realized I had more of a problem. And this was not just a healthy eating pursuit and trying to be healthy. I was sitting in the hospital, and I was more worried about how I'm going to burn the calories of the hospital food than dealing with this life-threatening blood clots on my brain. So 2016, I attended a mind power course. Actually, that was kind of my first
Mm-hmm.
exposure to more mind body, and maybe manifesting kind of
Mm-hmm.
training. And in there, they asked, well, what are you passionate about? And because we can only really enjoy what we do if we do something that we're passionate
That's right.
about. And I we did a visualization, and I could see myself standing on a stage with like just a massive sea of people, talking to them about health and wellness. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, okay. Like, I was a business analyst at the time, as shy as anything, would not speak in public, let alone on video. So I was like, okay. But yeah, like we subsequently moved to Australia. So I kind of just needed to adjust myself on that. But in 2018, I did my yoga teacher training course, and that's where my healing journey really started. I started, with yoga. You go there, and I thought, yeah, I'm just going to learn more about being more flexible and just deepening my yoga teacher practice. Um, but in there, I really learned about the philosophies, the subtle bodies, the energy, the chakras, um, as well as anatomy, which is like, I obviously learned a bit of anatomy in high school, but it really just made so much sense to me. And I really get passionate about understanding how hormones fluctuate in our bodies when we eat, and when we don't eat, and how that affects our brains and our thoughts. And with that, everything is interconnected, so that connects with um our energy system as well. So yeah, so 2018, I did a life and health coaching course as well. I did my energy healing, pranic healing course, and kind of just went into the world and started helping others who had the same struggles as me.
Well, can I first just really congratulate you and really honour you, because that's not very long. It's not very long ago, and look where you've got now. To go on that journey, and to heal yourself, and now helping others to heal, which is it's a wonderful thing, and altruistic, because there's so many women out there. That's why I'd love to talk to you even more, and I'd love to have you back, because your story is so inspirational.
Thank you.
There are many women in our world that have issues with food and their bodies and stuff like that, and it takes courage to heal that, to help work on that, and it also takes someone like you to inspire them.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank you for sharing that. And and tell us a little bit more. Let's go into the chakras and the food, and like and your food mood, right? Like, okay, so I know I know that what I eat affects my mood, right?
Yeah.
I know that. So tell us more about that for you, and how you came across that, and then moving into the chakras, how it affects our chakra system.
Yeah. So, when I started on my healing journey, and also what I get my clients to do, is to start seeing how food affects us, instead of, you know, listening to what other people say is good or bad, figuring out what that is for you, and also noticing what foods you tend to go for when you're in a particular mood. And I kind of started seeing like real interesting patterns. So, for example, my clients who would be highly anxious, they would have severe sugar cravings. And sugar cravings are the anxiety that's attached to root chakra, right? So through that, I was actually able to start with giving them grounding practices to help calm down the anxiety, bringing the root chakra back into balance, and that's helped with the sugar cravings as well. So
Yeah, I can understand that now. Like when you are anxious, you do tend to go for sugary things, but you never relate it to your root chakra
yeah, yeah.
and stuff. And that affects that. That's the same for all our chakras.
Yeah, absolutely. So, chocolates cravings is usually an indication of wanting an endorphin rush, which you normally get through a hug. Out of balance is your heart chakra. So we can start working with heart chakra practices to help with chocolates. Carbohydrates is more your seeking pleasure and joy. So there we're looking at the sacral chakra, and which else? Salty foods is related to the solar plexus. So yeah, it's just interesting how I kind of started seeing the imbalances um, from the emotional and physical symptoms that related to the chakras, and that's kind of how I started realizing that we can do all the that we can do the physical work. We can look at how's food affecting me. We can make peace with food emotionally, but we also need to do the energetic work to make sure that we are at peace at all three layers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's wonderful. I was, as you were saying that, I was just having a vision of, of establishing a movement or program or something to, to overcome food issues by balancing your chakras
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff. You really don't think that, which is amazing. So thank you. And now you have a company, your Wholesome Lifestyle Project,
That's right.
that
Yes.
helps women. Tell us more about that, and can people connect with you online?
Yes, absolutely. So my business is 100% online.
Okay,
I
good.
have a large international client base, Europe as well as the US
Hmm.
and New Zealand. So strangely enough, my business kind of started more attracting clients overseas. Now Australia, I'm starting to see more Australians reaching out for coaching and more alternative um, methods of looking for health. So yes, absolutely. There's a few ways that people can get in touch. Obviously on my website, I have a little chat button at the bottom where they can ask questions. They can book an appointment if they're ready for that. um, but I also have my social media accounts where
Yes,
people can message me. um, yeah, a lot of people
yes.
also listen to my podcast, which has been really supportive in the community.
Good, good. And we will put all those links in the comments as soon as we finish. We do have people watching us, so for everyone who is joining in, I'm here having a beautiful chat with Stel, all about food and the relationships with our chakras, in the chakras and our food, mood, relationship, which is rather really interesting. I don't know. I'd love to put a worldwide poll that who realizes that food is related to our chakras. Same thing. You don't really realize that. Um, And Stel, while we're just chatting, before I go there, for everyone who is watching, if you've got any comments, any questions for Stel, please put them in the comments, and do hang around because we will be putting all of Stel's links in as soon as we finish the conversation. And Stel, with everything that you've gone through in your life, all right, and now and stuff, and we know that our world is a challenging world to live in. Can I ask you a couple of things? Can I ask you, like, first of all, now, in your life now, what motivates you to get out of bed every morning?
It's such a good question because today was hard. I was sad. I would have to be up at 5 in the morning.
Oh, I feel for that. I know what that one's like.
I think what really motivates me to get up is the fact that um, getting up for me has never been really an issue, but it's showing up in my community and for the people, because I never had that support. I was dismissed when I went to see the doctor and the psychologist. When I told them my symptoms, they said, well, you're thin, you can't have binge eating issues, like, maybe just overeating because you're stressed. So, and, eating issues and food and body issues, it's not something we talk about. Oh, it's taboo, right? I mean,
Yes.
everyone should know how to manage themselves around food. Or that's what I used to think, So
Yes.
it's really a tough thing to really open up about. And I get motivated by knowing that if I show up and I can help one person today feel a little bit better and not alone about what they're going through, then I've made a massive difference. And the ripple effect, like what happens in their day and with their families, and which is quite magical.
Thank you for that. And and it is nice, and I totally agree. Like, if we can just help one person, and the ripple effect of that goes through that. And you're such a, again, I've said it, but I want to say it again, you are such an inspiration for that, to help, to see that people aren't alone in the world. That there are ways around things, no matter what we're going through. There is someone there who can help us, and you're definitely the person, for anyone who wants to balance their relationship with food, and so much more, which is wonderful. And I want to talk a little bit about your podcast too while we're here, and we will put all the links again in the comments. But you're also an author.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Do you happen, I know we haven't mentioned this before, but do you happen to have your book with you?
I actually don't have it in this room.
Okay.
It's not
a problem. It's not a problem.
Yes, I am the author of the Food and Mood Journal, which is a nice little activity book for you to really track over the 8 weeks how food affects you. And it's not about counting calories, because we know that old method does not work, right?
Yes.
Calories in versus calories out. That's not what it's about. If it was, then no one would have had issues. So this is a real book that helps you connects back in with understanding how food affects you, and also like how your moods affect your food choices. And then I am the co-author of the book Reclaim Your Inner Goddess.
Yes.
And that book is just such a beautiful journey through the chakra systems. And my contribution was the root chakra, where we talked about how to reconnect with your body, so that you can be the best version of yourself and become that inner goddess that you are already.
Wonderful. It sounds special. And that is that available on your website? Is the link for that, for both the book and your journal, is available on your website? Good. So we will be putting that in very, very soon. And before we finish up, Is there anything else that you would like to share, like a tip or technique, anything for any woman out there who is struggling with food issues, with your relationship with food? Anything that we can do that will help balance or balance our chakras or bring everything back into alignment, to bring our relationship back with it, our relationship with food back into alignment?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, you know, when we are in a love-hate relation, I'm just using that as a,
Yep, I hear
not
that.
sure what else. When we when we're in a kind of relationship where we can't trust ourselves with food, and we fear food, or fear who or what we might become when we're around food, that obviously really ignites and aggravates our sense of feeling safe, safe in the body. So, when you are anxious about your food choices, or I think one of the first things you can do is a grounding practice, whether it's meditation or some breathing. That will really obviously just help balance out the root chakra. One thing that I like doing is putting my hands in cold water, which is also quite nice and grounding, and that can help calm the nervous system down.
I've never actually even thought of that. Is when you need to ground, because I do a lot of grounding here now. I go outside and hug a tree, or
Yes.
even just pat a plant,
Mm,
stand on the earth if I can. But I
yes.
never, or even go to the beach. But I never thought about actually putting my hands in water.
Yeah.
Of course, we do that. We have a shower for cleansing.
Mm,
But if you can't actually literally have a shower, then at least putting your hands in water is still touching, water, that energy, that earth, that water energy, but it's still nature.
yeah,
Wow, didn't
absolutely.
didn't think of that. Thank you for sharing that. I will take that away, and everyone else who's watching us, love to know your thoughts and things about putting. Have you ever experienced the difference of putting your hands in water? And one other thing, because I'm looking at the links, and you've got this quiz, the Chakra Food Mood Quiz and stuff, that we'll put the links in for that.
Yes. So basically, it's just I think it's a seven quick, 7 question quiz that will kind of help you figure out which chakra you need to work through, in order to start healing your food mood relationship. And through that, I also give you a little resource with balancing all the chakras. Um, but I also give a few little bits of information for you to go and do straight away, so that you can find balance.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you ever so much. We have had a comment from Wilma, who is watching us, and she's saying that it is an interesting conversation. So thank you, Wilma, and I really agree with you. I've talked to many people, Stel, many people, but this is the first time where it's like the relationship between food and our chakras. It opens up a whole different awareness, a whole different world when you realize that they are really connected.
Mm,
And exactly what you were saying before, when you're wanting, when you have a craving for chocolate, it's because you're wanting that kind of that warmth, that or that hug, that love, things like that, because that's what the chocolate brings on.
mm,
Where instead of getting the chocolate, you can do work on the energy around your heart chakra and
yeah,
fulfill it there. And that's all. I am going to experiment on that. That is wonderful.
you're
I'm gonna
welcome.
actually try and do that. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So we will put all those links in. And is there one last thing that you would like to share with our community about food, about chakras, anything else that, or about your life, and it's something that will help other women out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if you are struggling with food issues and emotional eating, or just out of control feelings with food, just know that first of all, you're not alone, and there's also there's nothing wrong with you. We've just created a symptom because something needs to be nourished. And symptoms and habits can actually be rewired through just a few simple steps in the right direction. um, so I'm sending you so much love if you are experiencing these issues, because I want myself know how difficult that is.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
ever so much. I'm feeling that in my heart, and my heart's going out to you, and yes, to all the women in the world who are experiencing challenges, anything to do around, our relationship with food and struggling with body images and everything else. It's not an easy world that we live in today. So I just want to I know I've said it, but I just want to honour you. Still
So
really,
much.
really honour you for following, this passion and helping yourself heal, and bringing that in to helping others heal as well. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.